Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
My name is Barry Allen. And I am the fastest man alive.
Listen to me. There's a war coming. A terrible war.
You have failed this city.
Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Fandom Zone podcast. Oh, there's the theme music still going.
No, keep talking. Keep talking.
I hear it.
You talk over it.
All right, so in case you haven't figured it out by now, I'm Charles Skaggs, and with me once again is the ever awesome, ever incredible Karen Lindsay.
Hello.
Yay!
You're such a pro.
Hey.
Just keep talking, dude.
Have you seen my intros? No, they're not professional at all. I'm the farthest thing from professional, at least as far as podcasting goes.
That's all right. That's your charm.
Hey.
And mine too. I'm not a pro either.
Well, you get what you pay for, and I get paid nothing, so there you go. Exactly.
Said.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
No, that's a different podcast, but anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see what it did there? Okay.
I do.
All right, so we're back once again, reunited, and it feels so good.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
After Karen needed a much needed week off.
Yeah.
So thanks once again to Dawn, excuse me. See, I already butchered her name again. To Dawn for helping us out last week.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So
thank you.
bailing us out because God knows we don't want to listen to just me.
Hey now. Well, everyone needs a wingman, right?
Yes. You are my wing person.
That's right.
The wind beneath my wings.
And every other week, you're my wing person.
Aw.
That's true.
You see how we are?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So this week, we only have 4 comic book shows to talk about.
Yeah.
Because all the DC shows are on hiatus except for iZombie.
Right.
And,
yeah.
But we do have the premiere episode of Daredevil.
That's right.
On Netflix, which was pretty cool, and I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah. Now, the whole season came out all at once.
But we can't really cover 13 episodes. We could barely get through 6.
I know. So I guess we're just going to cover the first episode today.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do like the second episode next week.
Sure.
If that's cool.
And at least we can be spoilery with it because people will have already seen the whole thing, right? I mean,
if we jump ahead. I've only watched the first 2.
Okay.
So far.
I've only watched the first one.
Okay, so we won't get too spoilery. I'll try to avoid episode 2 spoilers.
Yeah, I've read stuff about the other ones, though, because I don't care about spoilers.
Although
I'm one of those kind of people.
Although I may slip in Daredevil comic book spoilers because I am a Daredevil fan.
Sure.
So we'll be talking about
that. That's fine. I don't mind about anything about that.
All right.
I am really upset that I missed last week because of the Flash episode.
Oh, wasn't that the best episode ever?
I got to give that one like a 9.5, just so you know. A 9.5 no's for I am your father. Oh my God, I can't believe he said that.
He said the thing.
I
Wasn't that great?
cannot believe it.
All right.
I brought my husband in and he hadn't watched it yet, right? And I said, look what he says. And I pressed the start button again. And I made him watch it. And he said, oh my God, that's so cheesy, but awesome.
And a million Star Wars fans cried out.
That's right.
And suddenly silenced and
died and then woke up again.
And then went on Twitter.
It was amazing. And he was so great. And I did not see the twist coming.
And thankfully they didn't kill him off.
Right. So he can be back again.
He could be back.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
That was such great writing. I did not see that he was setting the whole thing up. I didn't see it. So anyway, I just wanted to get that in since I wasn't here last week.
I know. You just probably like inside, like, I got to talk about this because this was so awesome.
I know. And it was. I mean, that was the only thing that I really was like, I cannot believe I couldn't talk about this. So.
Well, hopefully he'll be back and you can talk about it when he comes back.
Now, mind you, the other shows were also good.
Yes. But that was the winner of the week. That was the big one.
Was the one.
As far as, hands down, my recommendation for last week.
I mean, if I had to give one the Karen stamp of approval last week, that was it. That was like, I mean, it was almost a 10.
Mwah.
Right?
It was a 10. It was a 10 as far as I was concerned.
Okay.
Because it gave me everything I wanted as a Flash fan.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, it's really difficult for me to give something a 10.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just is.
Well, for me, I couldn't find a thing I hated about that episode.
No, there was nothing I hated in it at all.
Yep.
Maybe I should give it a 10.
All right. Well, while Karen ponders this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't we go ahead and start talking about this week?
Sure.
All right. Yes.
Okay, 10. I say 10.
Okay, so there we go.
10 Darth Vader references.
Hey, yeah, 10 Darth Vader references.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start off, since we're still in DC mode, apparently.
Sure.
We're going to go to iZombie.
Yay. One of my favorite shows this season, I think.
I laughed so hard at this episode.
I know.
The dialogue was just, like, completely stellar.
Yeah.
As a writer, I'm just like, this is... Every line coming out of Liv's mouth was beautiful.
Yeah. I really like this show. Really do. I mean, it's not like my favorite. Like, The Flash is my favorite this season. I mean, hands down. Secrets and Lies. I love that show. Person of Interest. I have my big time favorites. This is like a sleeper kind of. It snuck up and it's biting me.
It reminds me so much of the first season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
It's just fun.
Where it was this little, it's on the network that hardly anybody watches, and it kind of sneaks up and is like, hey, this is a fun show. You should be watching this, and then you should be telling all your friends to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can build up that cult kind of fandom.
Right.
Because it's definitely cult-worthy, I think.
It's funny, and it's got that supernatural component, and there's kind of a creep factor, but it's also just adorable.
Right.
Right?
And there's a big bad.
Right.
And there's a running plot line.
Right.
That's
and
building
there could also
slowly.
be bigger bads.
Yeah. We don't know.
Right. And there's
potential.
Smaller bads. If you consider the police detective stories.
Right.
In it. So, I mean, there's just levels of badness. And
yep.
So, yeah, I kind of dig it. So, anyway, let's talk about iZombie. Yes. This week is the 4th episode, Live and Let Clive. And I have been singing that song all week.
Now, Live and Let Die.
Yes, Live and Let Die. But I put Clive
Live
in.
and Let Clive.
Yes.
Live and Let Clive.
Yep. And for all of you who think that there is a grammar mistake in that song, it is not true. Just so you know. In this ever-changing world in which we live
Right.
in, people think that is what it says. That is not the case. In this ever-changing world in which we're living is the sentence. Just a bit
Very
of
good.
trivia for you.
That's a sticking point for you, isn't it?
It was.
And now you've expressed it.
That's right.
Awesome.
Go for it.
All right. So
I
yeah,
hate
this episode.
grammar errors.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. This episode was written by Kit Boss, who major props for the dialogue because I loved it. So many good lines. And then directed by John Kretschmer, who I think directed episode 2.
Okay.
So he's back.
He did a great job too.
Yeah. So we opened up with Blaine in bed, following up on last week's episode where he's hanging out with his new zombie sugar mama.
Yeah.
Jackie.
She's a cougar.
Yeah.
Even though they're probably similar ages. I mean,
right.
He's been around a long time. He just doesn't look his age.
Yeah, we don't know when he was made a zombie, so we don't know how old he is.
Well, no, I'm not talking about on the show. I'm talking about the actor.
Oh, David Anders.
Yeah, David Anders looks younger than he is. So, excuse me.
Well, maybe they have zombie makeup that fills in the wrinkles or something.
Yes, that could be it.
Put the spackle in.
Yeah, but she is... They portray her as a bit of a cougar on the show, which I dig. I really like that. And I like that they're doing the makeup on them.
Yeah.
Because it sets them apart from Liv, who just is herself.
Yeah, Liv doesn't care. She's just like, okay, this is who I am now. She's not trying to pretend to be human.
Right. And no one questions it.
Yep.
Which is the great part about it. They're just like, okay, she's gone emo and she stopped being out in the sun.
See, I would think that maybe people would think she's an albino, but nobody's ever made that reference yet.
But she grew up.
Yeah.
Normal. So, but no one's questioning it.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, it's her goth phase or whatever. But
like her whole family is just ignoring the fact that she's turned white overnight.
Unless they figure maybe there was a like because of her traumatic experience that you know how like if you're really afraid sometimes your hair turns white,
right,
that kind of thing.
Right.
So, but I don't get how her skin turned white.
Right.
Yeah. So unless she's got like like aphasia or whatever it is, I can't remember what the
thing that Michael Jackson supposedly had.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That whitens your skin.
That's the ventimili whatever.
I don't know what that is. Somebody out there probably knows.
Yeah.
The interwebs know.
Yeah.
But they are not helping me today. So.
Yeah.
I liked one of the lines that Blaine says to Jackie here. He says, I love the line where he's like, something like, I made you a zombie, but I never made you a whore.
Right. You know what? I thought that was a kind of a
compliment.
Yeah, and a bit of a sympathetic thing. Although what it meant was he was going to gouge her on the price.
Yeah. I don't think he's got any like, pure motives here.
No. However, he is saying, you're not a prostitute, so I'm not going to pay you for sex. This is pleasure. So he's using it at least as a compliment towards her. Now, whether he means it or not, that's a different thing.
But he is giving her brains to keep her around.
That's true, but she's paying him. So
that's true.
There's that. It's vitiligo, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Research Goddess, coming through once again.
Yeah. Google is coming through once again.
All right. Well, I was giving you credit.
Thank you.
All right. Take it as a compliment.
I'll take it.
All right, so this time Liv eats the brains, nom nom nom, of this Asian gang member, Sammy Wong.
Mm-hmm. Now,
And
I need to ask you a question about the eating thing.
yeah,
Why does she feel the need to hide it? Because it doesn't look like brains if you're just glancing at it.
well, she doesn't hide it from Ravi.
No, but she hid it from the detective guy.
Oh, you mean Clive?
Yeah, Clive Babineau.
Well, maybe she's worried that he might figure out that it's brains. I don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like it. I mean,
It's
he
like-
notices the bowl,
Right.
but she hides it under the sheet. You would think that hiding it would be more conspicuous than just, continuing to eat it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Maybe that's something that'll be addressed down the line.
Maybe.
That,
Maybe. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of
could be.
point it out
Yeah.
and say, it might be something to look at and say,
Well, eventually, I got to think that Clive is going to get hip to the fact that
right,
something's up with Liv.
right.
It's not just she's psychic and that's
Right.
it.
Yeah, well, now one of the things I compare this to is Psych.
Right.
Because that part of the show it reminds me a lot of Psych. And a lot of the characters never found out that he wasn't psychic. And only a couple of the characters found out, but it was in the very last season. So, I mean, are they going to do that? Or are they going to slowly let people in on the secret like they are doing on Suits? Where one person learns and one person learns and then one person learns. I don't want to compare it to a lot of different shows, but that there's only so many ways they can do this.
Right.
Are they not going to let people know? Or are they going to let people know a little bit? Are they going to tell Major at some point? Are they going to tell Clive at some point? They're going to tell her best friend at some point. There's a few people.
Right.
Her brother,
Well,
for example.
Well, you don't want everybody to know at once.
No, obviously not.
You don't want to just sit everybody down in the living room and go, "Oh, by the way, everybody,
I'm a zombie." Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, I understand that, but are there going to be people that are just completely left out for the whole run of the
I'm sure it's
series?
going to be like Arrow and the Flash, where like gradually down the line, one person will get told,
Right.
and then another person later on.
Yeah, there's a good example. Those are both like that.
Because that creates a little like initial conflict.
So who's first? What's your prediction?
Who do you think that Liv will open up to? Well, she's
Or
already
who
opened
will
up to
find out first?
Ravi.
Not open up. That doesn't.
I say her brother.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Evan, because he saw her fighting this dude in
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah. Hello,
we'll get-
Matrix reference. I know Kung Fu. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Chuck, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you watch Chuck? You didn't.
I did not watch. I've seen the show every so often, but I didn't follow it.
Yeah.
religiously.
One of the main things in a season finale was that he downloaded the
Matrix.
it's not called the Matrix. I can't remember. What it's called because I keep thinking of the machine from Person of Interest. But he downloaded the thing in his head
The thing.
again after he lost it, and he said, "I know Kung Fu."
Right.
So he did it as well. And every time I hear it, I think of Chuck. But it's a line
Yeah.
from the Matrix, obviously.
Right.
So,
But still funny, especially coming out of Liv.
yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but it's
No,
fun.
I really loved
it's
it.
fun. It's fun cheesy.
It's good cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, so Liv starts chewing on Sammy's brains.
Yeah.
After
You can skim,
what?
You can skim the story if you want.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
part
I'm setting up some stuff here
Okay,
because
go.
I want to talk about that the brains made her paranoid.
Okay.
This is essential to the discussion.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not going to just go one by one. So calm down. I just want to talk about the
For you
brains-
guys that aren't in
Yeah.
on the video, I did
Yeah.
fisticuffs with him just now.
And I'm
Let him
throwing up
know
the
I'm
hands
not
going,
fighting.
like, no mas.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting with you. I just wanted to let you know that we didn't have to go through point by point.
Well, that's what I wasn't doing.
Okay.
I'm cool with the flow. Okay. I just wanted to introduce the concept. See,
You're the awesomest.
she's giving me crap.
I know. I am, because you love to look at your notes and go through the whole thing. And I see you picking up your paper.
It focuses me
Okay.
back on the discussion because we tend to divert.
I know.
And it reminds me, it's like, okay,
I love your notes so hard. I do. I know, you guys. You know what, Charles? You need to take like a screenshot of your notes and post them so that people can see how awesome your notes are.
Well, it's not the complete episode. It's like a list of 10 things that I thought were interesting.
I know.
Okay,
they're
so
great.
it's not the whole episode.
I know, but they're awesome. You see my notes?
These are bullet points.
My
That's all
notes is my rating
okay.
and what's in my head.
Well, you did, yeah, but you have all this stuff where on our Google Doc that talks about, what's coming up.
The news and spoilers and
news,
stuff.
yeah, so.
Yeah. I do the predictions and stuff. Okay, I'm sorry.
Karen's
Man,
getting a
that
little
is-
contentious here.
That is behind the scenes. No. I just okay. Go ahead. Go back and talk about the other stuff. Set it up.
Okay, well, now I'm afraid to, but
No,
now I'm paranoid.
don't be paranoid.
Talking about Liv being paranoid.
No. Go back.
All right. But the only thing is that I was trying to talk about was that Liv thinks that Clive is a dirty cop.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. That was my whole point.
I was sad about that actually
Yeah,
because I knew that he wasn't,
right.
and I felt bad that she would think that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I knew it was going to cause some sort of friction between the two of them. But I like how it resolved in the end.
Yes. We find out that, Clive's just this, he was under deep undercover, and Sammy was part of, he's in on it, but Clive's good. It's all good. Everything's good.
Yeah, but there was some tension where she felt like she had to go behind his back and lie to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like that, he was a step ahead of her.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of surprised her a couple times, showing up in her apartment.
Right.
And said, I told you to stay out of it, but I saw you going behind my back. Bad girl. And then at the end, when she said, my bad, I am really sorry. And she copped to it. To her credit, she copped to the whole thing. I thought you were a dirty cop. I'm really sorry. I will never doubt you again. And he was gracious enough to accept that apology and to say, okay.
Now, we've kind of gotten the idea that Clive has, obviously it didn't go well while he was
Right.
deep undercover.
Right.
So we finally get an explanation a little bit about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it like a year he was deep undercover or
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's why he had to be reassigned from Vice to
Homicide.
Homicide.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's I think there's
There's
more
more
there.
of a story there.
There's
Yeah.
more there that hopefully we'll get at some point.
I'm sure there's some sort of mental scarring there
Right.
from having to play that part for so long. And also, I did like that he said, if you hadn't gone behind my back and done all that, then, he would have been dead.
Right.
So he did actually, there were concessions on both sides. And I think it kind of brought them a little closer. I think there's still some sort of sandpaperiness between the two of them. He doesn't want to believe in psychics. he still kind of scoffs. Did you have a vision? You know, he
Yeah.
still kind of does that.
Well, he's got to be the pragmatic cop guy.
Right, right.
That, this is all crazy fantasy stuff.
Right.
But
he believes her the minute she says something.
even though we're in episode 4 of it, and
Right.
we've.
And he's still taking her vision seriously. So
And he's getting all these big collars as a result
Yep.
of her visions that he makes
Right.
fun of. So
Well, again, I mentioned Psych, and Psych, through the whole thing, they scoffed at him. And yet they still had all these solves from him. So, yeah. I mean, I was just, the way it resolved, I loved it. Because, usually if they tie it up in a nice little bow, I roll my eyes. But I think this was done very nicely in a way that they were still themselves. It wasn't out of character for either of them. But they still kind of, cop to their flaws. They both cop to the fact that they did some things wrong.
and they kind of like work through it.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. So
Now, one of the things of Liv being paranoid, that kind of carried over to where she goes to Major's house
mm-hmm.
and runs into his new girlfriend, Karen.
I know.
So Karen is now Major's new girlfriend. So dish Karen. What's Major like?
I wish I knew.
Because I know you think he's kind of dreamy.
I do think he's dreamy. I wish that were me. From seeing me right now that I look nothing like that.
Well, I had such a good laugh.
Did you?
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe her name's Karen. That's so funny.
I know.
And it's because knowing that you thought he was attractive and whatnot. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's too perfect.
It looks like every one of my aunts. All of my aunts look like that.
Yep.
Tall and thin, and they're younger. They're like the age of my brothers. So I grew up with them kind of like, carting me around to places and stuff. And that's what they all California
stuff.
Sort of light brunettes.
Yeah.
And right. I am nothing like that. So, seeing that, and I was like, oh, I know I'm going to get teased about this.
All right, sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's all right.
I'll back off.
God, I really wish it was me, though, because he is really cute. And learning that he's into the character, at least.
Yeah.
He's into video games and Diablo in particular.
Yes, it's Diablo 3. Yeah, we find out that both he and Ravi are Diablo 3 buds.
Yeah, that's a Blizzard game.
They're Diablos.
Diablos.
Diablos. That's what they are.
I like that.
You like that?
That's very nice.
It's tough to say, but
Yeah, those are the same people that make World of Warcraft, by the way.
Right.
Blizzard and the launcher. They have a launcher for all their games that has all of the games. So, like, you could launch World of Warcraft and Diablo from the same thing. And I actually had to launch Diablo today to see what the level of my Diablo character was because I had forgotten.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I don't play it very often, but
poor neglected video game character.
I have 3 characters in Diablo. So.
And it was pretty funny that that Liv's whole reason for hooking these two up was just that she didn't want Karen to move in with Major.
I know.
So she's like,
so she needs someone to.
So it's like, hey, Ravi, why don't you move in with Major so that
float the rent.
Yeah, Karen doesn't move in.
Yeah.
And then it kind of backfires a little bit because they're all like, hey,
they're bros.
We're Diablos.
Well, but it's not backfiring. I mean, she's happy about the fact that he's there with him.
She did get what she wanted.
Right.
Because now the question is when Karen comes over and Ravi's there.
Yeah. Awkward.
Yeah, but what I did like was that it finally brings Major into the central plotiverse.
Yep, that's right. So that means that we'll be seeing him in the show, most likely. And I did like that Ravi brings up the fact that, well, he didn't put me on the lease. He just let me move in and pay rent. And you know what that means is that he sees this as the fact that you want to be in his life. So Ravi's kind of interpreting this as a way for Major to have hope.
Right.
That something will happen again between the two of them. So now that doesn't mean he's going to stop seeing Karen. We don't know that yet. But, because that may be his buffer, his pain buffer right now. But, I'm sure he still has feelings for Liv. So.
Yep.
But
So
you're on the Ravi train, I know.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of wondering at what point if Liv's all hung up on Major still,
yeah,
what point does Ravi get a crush on Liv?
I think he already has a crush on Liv.
You think there's a little triangle possibility there?
Yeah.
Romantic
I think he's
triangle.
rooting for Major because he knows how she feels about Major. But I definitely think he's got a bit of a crush on her. I think he's not sure how far that goes. He knows that they're really good friends.
Well, he apparently goes far enough that he will go to a adult video bookstore.
Right.
And
right.
Which is one of my favorite scenes in this.
This was great.
Where Liv is acting like this, sex step ditz.
Yeah.
Like
with
talking
her gum and the Yeah. And the crunched up card. That was brilliant when she took the card and she crunched it up to make it look like it had been in her purse. I was like, why is she crunching up the card? Is she going to put the gum in there?
Oh, that's why she's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking for Ray.
Yeah. Yeah, she was good.
Yeah,
and I loved Ravi in this episode. He was so great as her sidekick. Just completely 100% behind her.
Like last week when they were, with the zombie pit with Marcy.
Yeah.
Those two work really well together in the field, per se.
Right, right.
So.
Yeah, but that was difficult for them. I mean, he saw a side of her that he did not want to see last week.
That's true, but he's still with her.
Right.
Still hanging out with her.
Yeah.
He's not upset by it.
He's not going to leave her. And see, that's part of why I think he's crushing on her.
Yeah.
Plus, he wants to help her. He wants her to get better. And I think a lot of that is for him. And you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to that relationship. I really wouldn't. He's cute too.
But you prefer Major.
I don't know at this point.
Okay.
I really don't.
Too early to call.
Too early to call. They're both great.
Okay.
We're only 4 episodes in.
Whichever way it goes, you're happy.
I'm good either way.
Okay.
At this point.
And is there already fanfic between Ravi and Major?
I am 1,000% sure there's fanfic about every single character. There's fanfic about her and her best friend. There's fanfic about her and Blaine. There's fanfic about her and Ravi. There's fanfic about her and Major. I am sure there's fanfic with her and every other person on this show. There's fanfic about her best friend and her brother.
Yep.
I'm sure.
Although I'm sure the Liv and her brother fanfic is really creepy and disturbing.
No, there's none of that.
Okay.
They really don't go that far.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
Because that's,
Yuck.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Yeah. So
the other thing I really liked about this episode was that we get to see more of what Blaine's up to.
Oh,
because
man.
he's got the whole organization laid out.
Wow.
Dude's got plans within plans.
He's got spreadsheets. He's got
he's a schemer.
He's got recipes. He's got
with schemes.
You know what he's like? He's like Weight Watchers for brains, where he's got like meal plans and recipes and spreadsheets.
Dude is like, figured out like, okay, I'm a zombie. How can I make this work for me? Right?
Jenny Craig.
Exactly.
For zombies. He's so good.
You almost expect him to go on TV doing infomercials.
Right. If you're a zombie and you need brains,
right.
Come talk to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a 2,000 calorie a day meal plan with brains included. And guess what? You won't even know that it's brains.
So one of the things that we find out this episode that he's up to, among everything that he's up to, and it's only the 4th episode. He's got this restaurant storefront for his various activities called Meet Cute.
Yeah.
Which there.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, and he's got like he's got a whole zombie employee staff
Right.
working it.
I would say kind of an army.
Yeah. He's building, basically, he's got an army at his disposal.
Yeah, but it's a working army. It's not like an attack army.
Well, he's got like 2 armies. He's got his army of rich people.
Right.
And he's got his army of henchmen and...
And that's good. Yeah.
Right. The zombie henchmen.
Right.
And he's got like the woman that's managing the restaurant.
Right. She's a hoot and a half.
Yeah, she is. I want to see more of her.
I like
her. I can't remember her name.
No, but she's great.
Yeah, she was hilarious.
Who needs her name? She's fantastic.
And then the 2 henchmen that get featured in this episode, Eddie and Jerome, are hilarious.
Yeah.
Or at least they were.
They're bros, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, like they're working, they've decided, okay, like Blaine's, making all this cash.
He's a monopoly.
Yeah, he's a monopoly, and
he needs competition.
One of them, I don't know if it's Eddie or Jerome, I can't remember which one, but he comes up with a plan like, okay, guess what? We'll just sell brains on the side.
I think it's Eddie.
Okay, so he comes up with that, and they try
and
to
they're
hit
into
up
pumping iron and
yeah. but they're being all like thoughtful about it. They're not just meatheads.
Yeah. Just because we pump iron doesn't mean we're not smart. we are smart.
And
they're so dumb.
Now there was a line I like that Blaine he's smack talking them. He's like he does the brains are for closers reference, which it's a reference to a movie called Glengarry Glen Ross with this great scene by Alec Baldwin.
Yep, Alec Baldwin. Yeah.
Coffee being for closers.
Right.
Just go on YouTube, type in "coffee is for closers," and you will find it. And it's gold.
Yes,
it's one of the
best.
That
whole movie is fantastic.
It's a great rant. And,
Kevin Spacey.
I laughed so hard when they did the brains are for closers reset.
Yeah. That movie is great. I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah, I do too. I wonder if it's on Netflix.
I don't know.
I have to look it up. But
I have the DVD though.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'll just go and watch it.
All right. So, and then we got some stuff with Evan.
Well, we forgot to mention.
Oh yeah.
Poor Jerome and
poor Jerome. Yeah, because what happens is they're trying to sell brains to Jackie on the side.
Right.
And
they're going to start with her.
Yeah, they're going to start with her because they're going to work down his client list,
which is the dumbest place to start. His lover.
Right. So of course Jackie tells Blaine what's going on.
Right.
And of course Blaine's not down with that.
No.
So yeah, he's just kind of like pew pew.
Now here's the funny part. They walk in. There's a tarpaulin on the floor, and they go, "Are you painting?" And they stand right in the middle of it. You idiots.
These are meatheads. So that's why they're henchmen. You don't want henchmen smarter than you.
Yeah. So he shoots him right in the head.
Got to be dumber than you because otherwise they'll just take over.
And I'm assuming they're going to be meals later on.
Well, here's the thing, though. They ended up put in the freezer.
Yep.
Where apparently Blaine has a whole freezer full of zombie henchmen.
Right.
So he could just...
Are they just people? Or zombie henchmen?
So
I think they're just people that he's collecting in order to use their brains.
I don't know, but here's my question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he bother after he kills them, presumably shoots them in the head, puts them in the freezer? So would they just be...
To keep them so they don't decompose, I guess?
Yeah, but, I mean, do they...
Or so they don't reanimate?
Or that's what I'm wondering. Does shooting them in the head, will they recover from that if they're not frozen?
I don't know.
I think I'm sure...
Maybe we'll find out, because that is definitely a big point. I mean, he talks to the other guy in there.
I mean, I'm hoping they're not dead because I thought they were hilarious. I want to see
Yeah,
it.
I thought they were great too.
So
Idiots.
yeah, but so you get maybe like it's like a timeout for
Yeah.
zombies. Shoot you in the head, stuff you in the freezer.
Time out, sit in the corner
Yep.
with the dunce caps on.
Yeah, and you break out another couple of henchmen out of the freezer
Right.
as
To
replacements.
take their place. Have you
You
learned
got
your lesson now?
Yeah, exactly. And then, maybe he gets tired of those guys, gets rid of them, brings back Eddie and Jerome,
Right.
and is like,
Okay,
okay,
guys.
you got to behave.
Yeah. Do you remember the bullets?
Yeah. Do we really want to go through that again? You want to be freezered? Fridge.
I could put you back in cold storage, or you could help me now. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but I thought it was hilarious when they show up and they feel like they could just go in front of him and not realize that she's going to turn directly to Blaine and tell on him. So.
All right. So we're running a little long here, so I'm going to just one thing real quick. Evan, her brother.
Yeah, he's great.
He's got this creepy little crush on Peyton going through underwear.
Yeah.
Wants to go through underwear.
Yeah. Hey, you can chill in my room. I'll be in Peyton's room.
Yeah. So later on, when Liv is fighting the gang member AJ,
Yep.
She goes all full zombie.
Yep.
And starts wailing on the dude. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Now, Evan doesn't see her as a full zombie, but he does see her wailing on the dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to think he's going to be like, that's not my sister that I know so well.
Right.
That's new. Why is she wailing on this Asian dude out of nowhere?
Yeah, she's the first one out of her past life that has seen her acting that much out of character.
Right. So I'm presuming, this is why I think that Evan's going to be the first to know.
Yeah. He's great, too.
Yeah.
I cannot see any problem with the casting in this show.
Nope.
Every single person is just fantastic in this. Yeah.
Cool. So what was your rating for this episode?
I gave it, and this is why I had to go into Diablo today to look up my characters. I gave it 7.5, level 32 Demon Hunters. That is my highest level character, since I don't play very often.
Well, there you go. Well played.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's pretty badass looking, by the way.
And I give this one, not being a gamer, I give this one 8 out of 10 henchmen in a freezer.
Nice.
So, zombie henchmen in a
There's
freezer.
more than that in there, but you only have 8 in yours.
And there's a couple of nice steaks in there too, so which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, they have sides of beef in there, I noticed. Yeah. So,
right.
Shall we
Moving
talk
on.
about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes, let's talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay. This was a good episode, too.
Yeah, this is Afterlife, written by Craig Titley. No comments from the audience. Or Tidally.
Okay, Tidally.
Let's go with Tidally because it's less scoffing.
Okay.
And then directed by Kevin Hooks. And
You said
this one,
Hooks. I'm sorry. See, that's funny because that's not the funny word.
Are we not doing phrasing now?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. This episode is basically about Skye getting some background exposition on her new state as an Inhuman.
Yep.
Even though they're not referring to them as Inhumans.
No, they're
yet.
not. They're very cagey.
Yeah, it's like, we know there's an Inhumans movie scheduled.
Right.
No, they've gone through the whole thing. This episode actually really refers to Terrigenesis.
Right.
In a major way this time.
So that they're talking about how the mist transformed her.
Right.
And that they're trying to ease her into it by taking her to this place.
Yeah, this is all about what they call transition.
Right. But I'm guessing this is part of them easing us into this Inhuman mythology.
Right, without bombarding you with stuff.
Right. So that's kind of cool. I dug the guy that was there helping her.
What's his name? Oh, Lincoln.
Lincoln, thank you.
Lincoln, I've been thinking, what the hell have you been drinking?
He was very cool, and I think it was a really great way to tell us the story
Right.
by giving us that kind of midpoint. Oh, I guess you don't know. Let me explain it to you.
Yeah. Sky's essentially the audience's point of view character here.
Right.
With Lincoln throwing down all the exposition, going, oh yeah, I'm your transitioner, and you went through this process called pterogenesis, and explains all that, and that this place where you're at, it's called Li-Shi, and it's like a way station where people just go to transition or hide out from people, and there's just
Right.
oh,
It's
by
like a
the way,
retreat or
yeah, and apparently it's like this um, place where people aspire to be what you are, and they kind of resent you a little bit because they feel you've jumped the line.
Right. And those are people who are descendants of Inhumans, right?
Yes,
That
right.
would like to become Inhumans.
They
And-
have the potential to become inhuman,
right. Because
they-
of their lineage.
right? They're
But they
descended from
haven't-
these ancient Kree from
Right.
way back when.
But they haven't been chosen.
Yeah.
So they're there waiting to see if they can be chosen. But
Right.
she apparently was forced into it.
Yeah, because there's a few, like, about halfway through the season, there's this big episode where Sky and Raina,
Who we also
the
saw
woman-
in this episode.
the woman in the flower dress, they're in this Kree temple, and the Terrigen mists come out and mutate them into Inhumans. And Raina becomes like this porcupine girl.
Yep. As we saw in this episode. Yeah.
Right.
A monster, as she
A
describes
monster.
herself.
Yeah. But Sky, she gets her quake powers
Right.
because she's really Daisy Johnson from the comics, and Daisy Johnson is actually this sort of semi-superhero / S.H.I.E.L.D. agent called Quake.
Right.
So, and once they revealed that she was really named Daisy Johnson, it was only a matter of time before she got her quake powers.
Right.
Yeah. So we get all that. Meanwhile, you've got the real S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
trying to crack into this toolbox that Nick Fury left Coulson.
Headed by Robert Gonzalez.
Yes, played by Admiral Adama. Oh wait, no, it's Edward James Olmos.
He's so good.
Yeah.
That scene with the...
He's got such presence in this scene. If you were a Battlestar Galactica fan, you loved him as Adama. You gotta love this guy here. Although he's a little bit of a bad guy, but
Well,
that could change.
I think he is doing what he thinks is right.
Right. He's misguided.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's probably
yeah.
that's my take on it, is that he's right now he's seeing Coulson as a threat. And you had like Agent May, who's one of his captives, going like, no, dude. Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D. are the same thing.
Right.
So you better get with the program. But meanwhile,
that scene with him and Meng-Na Wen in the boardroom,
yeah,
where he shoves the gun at her.
Yeah, he tosses a gun across the table to her.
That was amazing.
She thinks it's not loaded, but it's actually loaded.
Right. And he says, he gives her the history behind the gun, having been owned by his great-grandfather in World War II, saying that it always found its target. And if you think that I am the bad guy, shoot me now. And if you want to know more, then don't. Then hear me out. And see, that's where I thought, well, maybe he really is doing what he thinks is right.
Then he offers her a job.
Yeah.
She's like, come with me to the dock side and we can rule the universe. Oh, wait, no, that's somebody else. So he's
Did
like,
you watch The Flash again?
Yeah, exactly. I am your father.
Sorry.
Squee. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he offers her a position on the real S.H.I.E.L.D.'s board. So she can have a seat at the table.
Yeah. But
she's doesn't say one way or the other.
No, but she's loyal to Coulson.
Right.
I don't think she's going to take him up unless she feels like she can be of assistance.
Right.
Try and undermine or figure out what's happening at least by taking that position. So
yeah. So you've got back to the whole thing with the Nick Fury's toolbox thing.
Yep.
You
The
had
Rubik's Cube, you mean?
Yeah, the Rubik's Cube thing. Yeah. You had Fitz and Simmons trying to figure out how to open it. Because that's what Gonzalez wants.
Right. Well, arguing with him, saying they weren't going to do it.
Right. Yeah, because Fitz is resistant to the idea.
Right.
He's
and
like,
Simmons is there.
He's like, I don't know if we should be doing this.
Right.
Maybe you weren't supposed to open this. Maybe it's nothing.
Right.
But Gonzalez is a little more demanding. He wants it opened.
Right. Well, Fitz says if it should have been opened, then Coulson would have wanted us to open it. He didn't. So we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And you're not our boss. You're not the boss of me. You're not my supervisor. And Simmons, near the end is finally starting to try and open it. And Fitz is not happy.
Right.
And he says, well, if you're trying to get me to leave, then this is going to do it.
Right.
And she says, well, then maybe you should go. And that was kind of her strategy.
So he does, yes, because we find out later, don't we?
That she gave him the real box.
So
what's in the box?
See, we've had a lot of, concern over the past several episodes that Simmons is kind of, she and Fitz have distanced themselves.
Right.
There's been all this tension.
Right.
Between the two.
They might break apart and go to different sides.
So, you had concern, which was obviously, intentional.
Right.
That Fitz is going to leave and then Simmons is going to be staying behind and working for Gonzalez.
Right.
But guess what? She's still on board with Team Coulson.
Right. Even though she pushes him away, it's in order to get that box out from under Gonzalez's nose.
She's playing everybody, but Fitz is in on it.
Yep. Now,
because thankfully he pulls out. We find out in the end of the episode that he's away from everybody else. He's in a taxi cab or something. He pulls out the toolbox, and then he also gets a nice little note from Simmons.
Yep.
Saying, I made you sandwiches.
Yeah.
So, sandwich.
Yeah. And she, she lets him know, hey, I'm on your side.
Yep.
Sorry for pushing you away. I mean, essentially, that's the subtext. I did that for a reason. Here you go. It's not under Gonzalez's nose anymore. Keep this safe.
Yep. Enjoy your sandwich.
That's right.
So for all you Fitzsimmons shippers,
yeah,
you got to be happy about this.
That's
because
right. They're adorable together.
They're together again. It's all good.
Yeah.
So yay there.
And then we got Coulson.
Yep. Coulson's hanging out with Hunter.
Yeah.
Because who we picked up at the end of last week's episode in what should have been Tahiti. I don't know if it was Tahiti, but it should have been.
Well, wherever it was.
Yeah, it was this tropical island place, but what better place than Tahiti to hook up?
Exactly.
They'll never look for me there. So he and Hunter, they steal a Jeep from the car lot. They
right in front of the. Did he kill that guy? Did Coulson kill the guy?
No, he used what's the icer, which is like a stun.
Okay,
it's basically phasers on stun. That's what the icer does.
Good.
So he just knocked him out. There would have been a really douchebag move to kill him. That's something Ward would have done.
Okay, but Coulson doesn't do that.
Coulson doesn't kill.
Good.
Yeah.
I was like, no, Coulson.
Yeah.
Oh.
Unless it's a really bad guy. No, it wasn't a jerk move. It was
good.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That guy wasn't a. I mean, he was kind of a douche, but he was a car salesman douche.
He's an overall car salesman. Yeah.
Right.
Innocent guy. They just took his ride.
Now, mind you, now what's his name? The guy who was with him?
Hunter.
Coulson. Yes, Hunter. Not exactly an above board move, stealing the car.
Yeah.
I mean, Coulson was going to buy it.
Right.
But time was of the essence.
Yeah, you couldn't just stand there and get the cops involved, and
Right.
so we had to make a decision.
Right.
So
And he kind of forced Coulson's hand.
yeah, because Hunter's more impulsive, and we had to get things moving in the
Right.
script, so we couldn't just stand there.
Well,
with the
not
car
just in the
lot.
script. I think
Yeah,
in
the
real life
Yeah,
they would have had to do that. Coulson wasn't making the right move.
right.
So it was funny. Coulson wanted the SUV,
Yes,
but Hunter goes straight for the Jeep, which I thought was cool. The Jeep was more awesome than the
Right.
SUV. Hey, that's my car.
Yep.
That is
So
my car.
So we got product placement Jeep
Right.
in the show.
Right. And he's hanging out the side of the car. He's like, "Yeah, this is your car. Come on, we gotta go. Send him a check later. Well, except for
Yep.
all our assets are frozen." And he
Yeah,
comes right out and says it in front of the guy. "Well, we can't pay you for the car. Sorry. We gotta go." And Coulson's like, "Okay, fine. Sorry, blam. Okay, let's get in the car and go." It's just so nonchalant. And they
Yeah.
leave him laying there and take the car. It was a great scene.
It was. It was.
And Coulson and Hunter are like polar opposites. Coulson is so straight-laced, and he's like a funny straight man. Right?
He is the straight man.
But he's funny.
Right.
I mean, he
But
also has
well,
incredibly funny
there
lines.
There are funny straight men, like Kelsey Grammer is Fraser Crane
Yeah,
or Niles Crane.
Right.
You know,
that
David
very
Hyde-
dry humor.
dry here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can have funny straight men.
Yeah, but he is incredibly funny.
Hmm.
And then Hunter, who was just like Wolverine
Right.
in this scene.
He's impulsive and
Right.
brash and
Come on, let's go. We just got
come on, mate, let's go.
Let's
We gotta go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So, and they go back and forth between having the upper hand and getting caught.
Yeah, because they go to Sky's cabin looking for her, the safe house,
Right.
and she's not there because she left last week with Gordon, the no-eye teleporter.
Right. And
Uh,
the retreat was the house that Bruce Banner built.
right. Well, it's basically Hulk-proofed.
Cool.
So yeah, so he was there.
So
and
that's
holed
why
up
they
and-
took her there.
because it would be fortified.
Right.
And Coulson knew this because that's why his whole plan was once he got there and they looked at the video and go like, "Oh, Sky's got showing off the powers and she teleported away with this dude with no eyes."
Okay, that was an awesome special effect.
Yeah. 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 It was more impressive last week, but
Taken by a UFO?
yeah. Nice.
By aliens?
What? Yeah,
Hunter was
right.
a bit agog.
He was aghast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Audible gasp.
Yep.
That's right.
So yeah, Coulson's whole plan is for them to just get a hold of Real Shield's Quinjet.
Mm-hmm.
That's his. So they lure the Real Shield soldier guys in,
Mm-hmm.
Get captured,
Mm-hmm.
but then who shows up to save them? But the return of J. August Richards as Deathlock.
Oh, he was good too.
Yep, and
In
he's
his
looking
nice
for.
new
he's look-
armor.
He's got new armor and he's all badassy.
Yeah.
and he's not so robotic
Yeah.
in tone and
Yeah, he was great. You want
Yeah.
me to get this bird in
Yeah.
the air? And then he's looking and you see all this bloop, 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 RoboCop type stuff.
Yep.
That was great.
yeah, basically Deathlock has become like Cyborg of the Justice League.
Yeah.
So he's got all those kind of abilities. Like, well, let's see. Now he can download. It's like, I need to know how to fly this attack helicopter. Well, like in the Matrix, and he just downloads it, and now he has the skills to fly the Quinjet.
He was fantastic. And I love how Coulson and Hunter get taken and Hunter's like, "So what happened to the backup?" And Coulson's real quiet. And then you see these hands
Yep.
pulling down the
Is that how he
door.
went?
Yeah. Kungung. Right there. And Coulson says, "There's our backup."
Yep.
That was great. That's what I That's the part I'm talking about where he's funny.
Yeah,
And he's just completely deadpan about it. But he knows it's funny.
right. And that's what sells the scene and makes it funny.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
of course they get off the ground, they land on the tanker out in the ocean.
right. And then Coulson realizes, oh, guess what? If we're gonna find Skye, we need to get Grant Ward. Dun dun dun.
Yep.
So Ward's back in play.
That's
Or
right.
will be.
Will be, yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and Skye meets a lot of people.
Right.
Finds a lot of people. And we
Yeah.
find out a lot of things.
Yes. So to be continued next week on that.
But
so
her
what's your-
dad's there.
Yeah.
We
We're
know
looking
that.
for. Yeah, he knows she's there, but she doesn't know her dad's there.
She doesn't know that, but we do.
No. Yeah, but we do.
And then
And her mom.
I know.
Yep.
Are we supposed to know that's her mom?
Yeah, we're supposed to know that
Okay.
because
But
they
she
said-
doesn't know that.
No, she doesn't know that. I
Okay.
don't think.
I don't
Yeah,
think so either.
No, but the Kyle MacLachlan's character, Cal,
Yeah.
he outright says, hey.
Oh yeah,
you're-
when they meet
our
up in
daughter.
that room.
Talk about our daughter.
Right. Right.
So it's to the audience knows, but I don't think Skye knows.
Yeah, I don't think Skye knows either.
So, anyway.
And I don't think her what's the guy's name again? The guy who's her guide.
Oh, Lincoln.
Lincoln. So Lincoln didn't know that she was gonna mentor her. So does that mean Lincoln's gonna get taken off the case because
Who knows?
he's still cast? I mean, he's still coming back.
I gotta think he's like future love interest for Skye.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too.
Yep.
All right. So my score
right.
is 8
Yeah.
prosciutto and mozzarella subs.
I love that. That was brilliant. And I give it 8 out of 10 stolen Quinjets.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I would
So-
take one of those Quinjets in a heartbeat.
That'd be awesome. Wouldn't it just rock that thing? Yep.
It was very
That'd be-
nice. And
that'd
that
be-
sandwich looked so good. I was so hungry. I had
You
to
can
go,
have the sandwich. I'm not big on sub sandwiches, but
Oh, I had to
you
go
go
make
for it.
myself some rice. All I have is like rice and noodles and stuff. So
good. All right, so we're running a bit long here, so we're gonna get through this next segment really fast because it's Powers, and Powers is Powers.
yep, I didn't
So-
watch it.
You didn't watch it, so I'll just
No.
breeze through this really quickly, try and catch us up a little bit. This episode is called "You Are Not It," and it was written by Remy Aubuchon and Alison Moore, and directed by Aaron Lipstadt, which is just a cool name to say, Lipstadt.
Very nice.
Yeah. This whole episode centers, of course, around Wolf, played by Eddie Izzard, because he's like the biggest actor on the show.
Yeah, I think they're
Um,
going to keep centering it around him.
Yeah,
They would
and
be smart too.
he's essentially the Dr. Lecter of Powers here, because everybody's going to see him in his cell.
Yeah.
We've got Johnny Royale wants to meet with him because Royale, finally, after a whole big rigmarole of Simon's, Johnny Royale's little multiple henchman guy that can clone bodies of himself. He goes, one of Simon's gets captured by the cops, arrested, taken to the station and put in a drainer cell that's at the station. And it causes him great pain, which ends up killing one of his duplicates that's with Callista. So that is used apparently to get, and this is where it gets like really convoluted unnecessarily. It gets Johnny Royale to finally have the means to see Wolf, because now the drainer cells have been proven to harm Powers, and Wolf is in a drainer cell, so therefore, hey, he needs to go check on Wolf, I guess.
All right.
So
That is convoluted.
it is overly convoluted. So he goes to the Shaft, John Shaft. and sees Wolf. He tells him about that he's been experimenting with Sway,
Mm-hmm.
the drug that gives everybody superpowers or kills them. And it reveals that Walker took Sway, which let him have the ability to take his powers back temporarily from Wolf, but then also reveals that Walker doesn't know that he has the ability to absorb powers from people who took Sway.
Okay.
So there's that.
All right.
And meanwhile, Wolf is like, hey, dude, thanks for making that Sway because you've made it really easy for me to tune in to everybody that's taken the drug because it's made for me. And therefore, I can find them and nom 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 on them if I so desire.
Ah.
So thanks, dude. And take their powers and stuff. So there's that. Yay.
There's that yay.
There's that yay, yeah. And meanwhile, you've got annoying Callista,
Yeah.
who Simons earlier in the episode is like, he's really jealous of how Johnny Royale is fixated on her. So he's like, hey, Callista, you should take Sway and get yourself superpowers. Even though it could kill you, but... So she's like, I don't know initially that if I should take it, but then she ends up taking it later in the episode, and her eyes get all glowy and stuff, and so it looks like she's finally going to get her superpowers from the comic. I'm guessing.
Interesting. Okay.
Because she doesn't die.
Okay.
So she's possibly getting her superpowers at long last. And then meanwhile, her sort of boyfriend, Crispin.
Okay.
We get back to his storyline. I guess Crispin's really getting into the whole thing with Chaotic Chick, that about the whole, going after the powers. So we presume it's him. At the end of the episode, he murders this superhero called Jump Striker, who is the one that stopped them from tagging the side of the police station a few episodes ago.
Okay. Yes.
So, and then he puts up on the building, the wall behind her, Chaotic Chic.
Okay.
So there's that. So presumably Crispin has now gone full villain and is murdering people with superpowers.
That's not good.
Yeah. So that's basically it. That's our episode.
Okay.
Not a lot happens. I give this one 7 out of 10 Simon's duplicates because Simon's was a big part of this episode. That's it.
All right.
So there we go. So see, I just breezed through that in 5 minutes. It was perfect.
Very good. I'm gonna do some editing on the fly here.
Okay.
Talk to you about it right now.
Okay.
How about we cut this in the middle after we talk about Daredevil, and we'll do the spoilers and upcoming stuff as a second episode this week.
Ooh.
How would that be? But we'll record it right now.
We could do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you want.
Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that, but we're just going to talk about an episode with spoilers.
What now?
Or do you want to break here and talk about
No,
Daredevil?
no. We talk about Daredevil now.
Okay.
And then we do our little outro. And then we talk
Yeah.
about everything else and release that as a second episode.
Okay. So we'll just have the second episode just be spoilers.
Yep.
Okay. So
As a
that'd be
bonus episode.
a bonus episode.
So like we could release that
Okay.
halfway through the week.
Because this one's running so long.
Right.
Yeah,
We could do that every week if you want.
We could. Although it's getting a little long now.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean time-wise.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
So we could do 2-hour-long episodes.
I hope everybody's interested in what we're doing here.
Sure. So everyone,
Yes.
this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Daredevil, which is the last show
Right.
this week. And then we're going to release a second episode that will have our news highlights and our spoilers.
It'd be like special features.
That's right.
On the DVD.
And if you guys like it, let us know. And we'll do
more.
that
Yeah.
the rest of the time. How's that?
That sounds good.
A little behind the scenes
Okay.
for our listeners.
All right. So
Okay.
before everybody tunes out, I'm going, what the hell are they doing?
We're going to talk about Daredevil.
We're going to talk about Daredevil because it was awesome.
Yeah, I loved
Really,
it.
yeah. This was Into the Ring, the first episode we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Even though they posted all 13, we know that.
Yeah.
But obviously we're running long, so we can't talk about all 13.
Right.
So we're going to talk about the first episode now. This was written by Drew Goddard, formerly of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep.
And he was going to be the showrunner for Daredevil, but then got busy with working on a Sinister Six Spider-Man movie spinoff that ended up falling apart anyway. So I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
Stephen S. DeKnight took over as showrunner, but a couple of these scripts have been written by Drew, and he's also like a consultant on the show still, and he's executive producer.
Okay.
So he's still tight with the show. This is directed by Phil Abraham, this first episode. And the series opens with a very, very good, interesting idea of opening with Matt, the day that Matt Murdock lost his eyesight as a kid.
Heartbreaking.
It draws the viewer right in because it is very emotional. And it's the whole business where Matt, for those who are not familiar with Daredevil comics, he goes off and, well, basically he's crossing the street or something, and there's a guy there, old guy, and there's this careening truck that's coming down the road, and it's basically a run over the old guy. So Matt pushes the old guy out of the way, and the truck goes out of control, and some canisters that the truck was carrying spill out.
Yep.
And toxic waste was in these containers, and it gets all into Matt's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And in this first episode, there's a really cool scene we see of Matt. The accident has just happened. Matt's father, Jack Murdock, shows up on the scene. He tries to get Matt keep him from opening his eyes, but the toxic waste stuff gets in regardless.
Yep.
And we see Matt's vision completely fading to blindness, and young Matt is just horrified, understandably.
Sure. I'm
blind. And it's just this really cool scene. So I thought that was a really effective way to start the show.
Yeah.
And they didn't go the full origin, like straight down the road. They doled out this very important scene.
Sure.
And then jumped right ahead to the present, which I thought was a good idea.
And they did show a couple of flashbacks throughout the episode.
Yes.
Which were fine. I mean, we don't need the whole origin story. Flashbacks are good.
No, we can have the origin told through flashbacks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, I have to tell you, it's a little personal thing. As you know, Charles.
Yes.
Last year, I had a bout, a remission, not a remission, the other, a flare up of my MS, which caused me to lose most of my sight in my right eye. And it happened exactly like this, with the fuzziness going in.
Right. And then everything fading to black.
Well, except it stopped before it got black. Okay. I have a fuzziness in my eye like that. So where it got fuzzy and like you can't see through most of it, that's what my eye looks like. So they did a really good job with that.
Did that disturb you? Did that unsettle you?
Yeah, a little bit. It looks like optic neuritis. They did a really good job showing that, which is unsettling, yes, but it's very authentic looking.
And they did a lot of special care to, in the movie, the 2003 movie with Ben Affleck did this too, where they show how a blind person functions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, yes.
Like right off the bat, you get Matt's cell phone, which is saying Foggy, 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 so he knows that Foggy's calling him.
Right.
because you can't just look at a cell phone and go, oh, it's foggy.
Right. That's his caller ID.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, one of the things that I like throughout the episode is when things are happening, you can see him zone in on whatever he's using as his marker.
Right.
So like the chain of the swing bumping up against, so he knows he can use the chain in his fight. That's one of the things that I noted. Stuff like that. It's really...
yeah, we don't really have full radar sense from the comic yet.
Right. Well, yeah.
But he uses sound.
Right.
Like you said, the clanking chain.
Right.
It tells him where things are.
Yeah. And I have noticed, again, I'm gonna bring my own personal things. One of the things is it's in my right eye. So as I walk, I realize I have to rely on like sounds and just kind of feelings from my right side.
Right.
In order to stop from hitting things. So if I brush against something with my arm, I realize I have to move. And it's very weird to see that now.
Yeah.
I mean, before when I saw it in the movies or something, I was like, okay, whatever. It can't really be that heightened. But it really kind of is.
Well, your senses tend to overcompensate.
Right.
Or like compensate for, like, I know I have really bad vision as far as nearsightedness goes.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result, though, I've noticed that my like hearing and my sense of smell and taste increased. I'm like one of those people that have like a really strong sense of taste and smell.
Right.
Which is why I eat really boring things, because it's just too much
It
sensory
overloads.
It's sensory overload.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, not to, your degree.
No, I get it though.
But, just it's your other senses tend to compensate for a sense that you don't have.
I've just noticed my right side has compensated for the lack of sight on that side. So, I mean, I'm overly sensitive to touch on that side and to like that kind of prickly feeling you get when there's something sneaking up on you,
Yeah.
That's one of the senses. There aren't 5 senses. There's more than that. You guys should look that up. And one of them is the feeling that something is coming up behind you. I'm not kidding. This is a real sense.
The danger sense.
It's kind of a spidey sense, yes.
Yes, spidey sense.
And so that sense is heightened. I get a kind of a feeling that something is moving on my right side, and so I'll turn and there is something there, but I have it lessened on the other side. So anyway, it was interesting to see.
And then you have the Haley, or the Sixth Sense, where you have Haley Joel Osment realizing that Bruce Willis is dead.
I see dead people.
Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. No. So anyway, I don't mean to focus on myself, but I just I didn't have it when the Daredevil movie came out.
So you appreciated that more.
Yeah, I did. I really did. And seeing it through these eyes, as it were, not as a joke, but
got it.
I really appreciated the attention to which they went.
So you're like, well done, showrunners.
Well done. Yes.
Kudos. Yep.
Exactly.
So we also get, early on in the episode, we get the adult Matt, Charlie Cox, who is really good as Matt Murdock.
Oh, so good.
He's got, he's an English actor, so you always wonder how his American accent is going to be, but he doesn't. He's perfect as Matt Murdock.
Yeah. I didn't get that weird R sound.
Right. He's so much more natural at it than Affleck was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm perfectly.
He's got
happy
a better American accent than Affleck.
Than Affleck's, yeah, I know.
No, I like Ben Affleck. Please don't give me any hate mail.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the Daredevil movie.
I did.
I thought it was fun. It's not the greatest, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 2003. We haven't hit the golden age of comic book films yet.
Right.
So
I was good with it. Actually, I was surprised when all the hate came out about it.
Yeah, I was fine with it. But we get the introduction of Matt's Catholicism background, where he's in confessional and he's talking to a priest, And one of the things I liked is that instead of confessing his past sins, he's essentially saying, I want to confess the sins I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Which is like, the priest is like, what?
I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do about this.
It's like, that doesn't work like that, dude. It's
Right.
past sins, not
Right.
current sins. But yeah, so I thought it was a good line.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, with Daredevil comics, they're very heavily influenced, and especially with you've got the themes of Catholic guilt.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the the whole need to confess for these sins, and then penance and all that. So it's those themes are present, and I'm glad to see them present in the new series.
Yeah. Not shying away from it.
Yeah, exactly. They're not just going to gloss over it because it might be awkward to some people.
Right.
So I'm glad about that.
And even if they complain, who cares?
Right. Right.
Good for Netflix. I say.
Exactly. But we do get to see Matt in costume, but it's not quite the Daredevil costume we expect in red. We get the black costume, which is kind of ninja-like,
Yeah.
but it's essentially the costume that was introduced in this comic book miniseries, Daredevil: The Man Without Fear,
Mm-hmm.
by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr.
Right.
So it's essentially lifted straight from that. It's this little, like, there's no body armor. It's just Matt with an. Interestingly, he just says, "Okay, I don't want to pretend that I have eyes, so I'm going to take my bandana and wrap it around my eyes
Yep.
as a mask.
Yep.
So there's no eye holes for anything.
It was essentially
'Cause I
a
don't-
do-rag
I
pulled
don't
down
need
over his
them.
eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, his
Right.
whole bandana action.
Who cares? I can't see
Yep.
anyway.
Yep. So what? Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Now, to pull from Frank Miller and John Romita Jr., I mean, hello.
mhm.
How can you lose with that?
Right. Exactly. Because that Daredevil Man Without Fear series is essentially like Daredevil Year One. It's a great explanation of Matt beyond the original Stan Lee origin.
Yeah.
Really fleshes it out
Very gritty, very noir.
and puts it in context of Miller's previous Daredevil stories.
Mm-hmm.
So because we get the introduction of like his relationship with Elektra.
Yep.
And how he meets Foggy and
Now,
stuff.
you know I don't have nearly as many Marvel comics as I do DC comics.
Right.
And that is not because of a preference issue or anything of that sort. However, I do have a lot of Frank Miller comics. And I have that series.
Okay. You have the miniseries.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because I love Frank Miller. And Romita is amazing. I've met him. He's fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
And I believe I have that signed by him.
Oh, excellent.
I'm not sure. But that is a classic. I mean, that is, when you say read some Daredevil, that's what you give people, right? I mean, so
it's a great starting point.
Yeah. So I was glad that they at least took something from that.
Yeah.
And it's a great costume. It really is. I mean, if you got to lift something as a, hey, he found some sort of makeshift costume to wear.
Yeah. It's a starter outfit.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And so we get that first fight where Matt is rescuing some girls from these D-bags that are like engaged in human trafficking. So they're trying to, herd the girls into a van to go off somewhere. So Matt breaks that up, and there's first fight where Matt's taking out the guys. It's brutal and it's messy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I loved about the fights in this series, really, is that they're not just perfectly choreographed like they are in Arrow.
Right.
Where everybody's timing their marks. It looks like a real fight.
Right.
Like the people are throwing punches and then maybe they don't perfectly connect where they're supposed to.
Right.
Matt loses his balance a lot.
Yeah. See, that was one of the things I was going to say to you is
Yeah.
that it looks kind of like a Matrix-y fight,
Yeah.
except for the fact that it's not perfect.
Right.
That they really make it look real.
And I like that.
Like something that could happen in
Yeah.
real life.
And that's nothing against the Arrow stunt people,
No.
because they're great.
No,
But
because
I just
that's
think,
how the Arrow is.
yeah. But I just think that this is it. It feels more real.
Right.
It's grittier. It's not, like I said, it's not perfect. It's there's flaws everywhere. You're like, okay, well, maybe you should have done this or been more smooth and cool.
Yeah.
It's not stylish. It's just
But it's
gritty.
still really pretty.
Yeah.
I have to say, especially that last fight was amazing. It was really one of the best fights I've seen in a long time on
Now you're talking about the fight
TV.
with where this guy attacks Karen
Correct.
in her home or
Right.
apartment or whatever.
The one
as
where
she's
he grabs the
flash
chain.
drive. Yeah. Oh,
No,
yeah.
the flash drive,
Yeah.
and they're out in the
Yeah.
playground.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, that was a great fight.
That was a great fight. I
Yeah.
totally agree. It's in the rain and
Yeah.
and Matt's having these flashbacks of his dad telling him to get up.
Yep. There's a few little slow motion sequences in it.
Get to work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that scene where he's putting his hand on his dad's face.
Well, that and that where Matt's dad, Jack, wants his son to become good at school because it's like he never had an education.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants Matt to hit the books hard,
Right.
and so he doesn't make the same
Become
mistakes that he
something.
made.
Right.
Yeah, he wants him to do something with his life, and so he's like, get to work. And so
Right.
that memory is what drives him to get up off the pavement as Daredevil
Right.
and
And
finish the fight with this guy.
here's what I liked about that is that it shows us that not only did he make the best of himself by becoming a lawyer, but he is also honoring his father's memory by fighting for the person, literally
Right.
fighting.
Right.
Because when he gets up, it's kind of that Frank Miller image of the blood dripping out of his mouth
Right.
with the red.
As if he was a fighter in a ring.
Right. But it's the red and everything else is black and
Yeah.
gray. But
Yeah.
yes, also like he's a fighter in the ring.
Right.
But it's just it's stark. Just stark and gray, and it was an amazing fight. I loved it.
Yeah. And Matt obviously has some daddy issues, but
Well, sure.
but
Who
sure,
wouldn't?
what superhero doesn't?
Oh, isn't that the key
Yeah,
to being a
exactly.
superhero?
Especially urban vigilantes.
Right.
So, but I mean, even when he's in the confessional, he's talking about his dad,
Right.
and you could just, the love of watching him fight or
Mhm.
hearing him fight
Right.
later on.
Right.
That just, that's something he just, it makes him feel closer to his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe by putting on the costume and going out and fighting crime, he feels closer to his father.
I'm sure that's a lot of it. And on a purely mechanical level, I think listening to his father fight helps him fight also. He knows what a fight sounds like in his head. He knows what a fight looks like from watching his dad before that.
Mm-hmm.
And he can also hear the other things around him, his environment. So that also helps him fight. And I think that that's a lot of what makes him a really good fighter.
Yeah.
So
we get introduced to Eldon Henson as Foggy,
yeah.
who I think is fun.
He's great.
He's definitely a different take on Foggy than Jon Favreau.
Yes.
But in a good way. I mean, I like the way that he's coming off so far.
Yeah.
He knows that Matt is full of BS at times, and he calls Matt on it, as friends do.
And Matt needs it.
And Matt needs it because basically, Matt, or Foggy keeps Matt from buying into his BS.
Right. Yeah. Because
And
Matt would be able to, he would believe himself if you let him.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's good. And the whole scene, I love that first scene where they go to the police station and you get to see Deborah Ann Wall as Karen Page.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not the first scene, but the first major scene.
Right.
Um,
The present day scene.
So she gets arrested.
Right.
But yeah, she's in the station, and they come in, and they introduce themselves as her lawyers without her even realizing it.
Right.
As basically she's their first and only client.
Right. Well, they need a client.
Right, they need a client, so they're like, okay, well, you need a lawyer, we need a client, so how about we help each other here?
Yep.
Because we need some press.
And it comes full circle at the
Yeah.
end, is well, you need me and I need you, so
Yeah, and it works out eventually for her.
yeah,
To the point where she becomes their secretary at Nelson and Murdoch, attorneys at law.
with a paper stapled
Yeah, with
to
a
the
paper.
door.
Yeah.
Let's hope that she's good at crafts.
Yeah, because apparently the whole place needs wiring and stuff. Yeah. Now they did when they were talking about the law offices. They went to go meet with a real estate agent, and the real estate agent actually mentions that the building where the offices were in was slightly damaged during the Chitauri invasion.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Avengers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, hey, guess what? We're referencing the Avengers movie, so we actually count as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
We're official there.
Yep.
So now that we've got that reference out of the way, we can just go back to focusing on our stuff.
Yeah, I love when they do that, when they tie stuff in.
So it's like it's connected, but that's all we're going to talk about. Everything else.
For now,
we're not going to talk about. Yeah, for now.
So they're placing it in that universe so that if they ever decide to tie anything in, that means they've already got that groundwork in there.
Like if they wanted to bring like Captain America in, or Hawkeye, or Black Widow.
Or put Daredevil in a movie.
I would love to see Black Widow and Daredevil.
Sure.
Because they were in the comics together, and since Black Widow's unfortunately not getting her own movie.
Yeah.
Which still bums me out, but
I know.
I don't know.
It's
anyway,
Scarlet,
that's
she could pull it off big time.
I know.
ScarJo.
Yeah. Team ScarJo.
Yeah.
But so we're introduced to Karen, and we're introduced to Foggy. There was a great scene with Karen and Matt where they get her out of the police station after they try to kill Karen in her jail cell.
And that's the second time.
Yeah, that's the second time.
Because we come up with the fact that they didn't try the first time. They just tried to scare her, and they tried to kill her the second time.
The first time was they tried to scare her.
Right.
Second time they's like, okay, we're going to try and kill you, make the problem go away.
Right.
So they try that. The guy fails miserably when Karen wisely reaches up and stabs him in the eye with a fingernail.
Yep. Ouch.
So good defensive move there.
Right. Plus, we have the eye motif again.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you got somebody blinded.
Yep.
There's a lot of people blinded in this episode.
Yep.
So she gets out of the station, and she goes back to Matt's place.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's all wet.
Well, she's all wet because they've been walking through the rain, because it rains throughout this whole episode.
Yep.
And right there in front of him, she just takes her top off, takes the shirt off, because, hey, he's blind.
Yep.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
And then changes her shirt right there.
Sure.
So
I would. I mean, what?
Yep. And Matt's just like, radar sense, don't fail me now.
That's right. Bow, chicka, bow, bow. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a sparkiness happening there.
Yeah,
but
which as comics fans know, was destined to happen.
That's right.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. So after the whole rigmarole of getting Karen's flash drive, and the guy attacking, and we talked about the fight. Daredevil takes the flash drive and the attacker and dumps him off on the steps.
That was great.
Doesn't give him to the cops. He dumps him off on the steps of the Daily Bulletin.
Yep, the paper.
The newspaper, because we can't use Daily Bugle because that's all tied up with the
Sony.
Spider-Man movies.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Sony.
Stupid Sony.
Sony shakes fist.
Yeah.
So because of that, we get the daily bulletin, which is late.
However, it was
We
a
will get-
good scene.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I did like how, he's walking away after the fight from Karen. And Karen says, you can't turn him over to the police because, you don't know who to trust there.
Yeah.
And he says, then we'll let everyone know. And that's why he goes to the paper and puts him there. Great move. Fantastic move. It's great.
I know. It's great.
Yeah.
So we end up wrapping up the episode with like this montage. Gotta have a montage. Montage.
Like a Community episode.
Yeah. That's a Team America reference.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But Community does that a lot too.
I love that song. Yeah. Montage. There where you got Matt in Fogwell's gym, which is a nice another comic shout out because that's the gym where his father trained and fought and worked at. And so
you can leave the lights off.
Yeah, you can leave the lights off because I'm blind. Who cares?
Right.
So he goes in there, starts wailing on a punching bag.
Right.
And
You're the best around.
Nice.
Nothing's ever gonna keep you down. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. But during this montage, you get like a good taste of all this stuff going on in Hell's Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
All this criminal activity because you got the guys like the Kingpin, who we don't see in this episode, but we hear his voice.
Right.
Vincent D'Onofrio is the Kingpin. He just get teased, which is great because it's saving him for later on. Like all the people that were tied with this company, Union Allied, that could connect him to Union Allied, get taken out.
Yep.
And like the guy that tried to kill Karen, it failed. He's dead.
Hanging in the cell, right?
Yeah. And then the guy, no. The guy that tried to kill Karen.
Oh, the fingernail in the eye.
He blew his brain out.
Right.
Or supposedly blew his
right.
brains out.
But someone else did it.
Was helped.
It was a hit.
To blow his brain out. Yeah. And then the other guy, the attacker, was hanging in the cell.
Right. The guy that they dropped off at the paper.
Right. The guy. Exactly.
Right.
So you had that. You've got this really creepy warehouse where all these blind Chinese people or Japanese people are filling cocaine.
Little sugar packets with cocaine.
They're packing up cocaine for shipment
from the little old Chinese lady.
And like all of them have been blinded in what looks like a lot like the way Matt was blinded.
Yeah, it does.
That
like
kind
acid.
of scarring a little bit.
Yeah.
Like some kind of acid blinded all these people.
Yeah.
So they can't, I guess, tip anybody off or what anybody looks like.
Right.
But that was disturbing.
That was a creepy scene.
That was. And then you've got, finally you get to this Japanese guy that is looking over blueprints of New York City. And there's the section of Hell's Kitchen. And there's these Japanese characters and big, bold characters. So something's going on there that maybe, the hand is in play or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got plans there.
A big map.
Yeah, we'll see. But some stuff gonna happen.
It was a cool montage too. And, over the whole thing, or under it, I guess, is Matt fighting with the bag. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I could hear in my head was, "You're the best around." I don't. Stupid, but.
So, was there anything else that you think I missed, or
no? I think that was it. It was a really great start to the series.
So yeah, that's our. We're off and running. I think it set the tone nicely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna, it wasn't like a 10 out of 10 episode, but for me, but it was a good start.
Great setup.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's obviously going to be bigger potential down the road.
Sure. Yeah, and again, I've only watched this one episode, so I'm not going to speak to anything else. Obviously, I can't. But a lot of series start off really slow, trying to introduce things, and they got off the ground just running straight off the bat. And you got to give a show props for doing that. They do not cater to the lowest common denominator on this series.
So, Marvel and Netflix so far, this is obviously, in my opinion, it's Marvel's best show to date.
I think so.
In just this one episode, it's already surpassing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's their best show to date as far as I'm concerned. And I know that the episode 2, without spoiling anything, there's a really great fight at the end of episode 2.
I've heard that.
I've
heard it's even better than the one in this one.
And it takes place in a hallway. That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Okay. Is it similar that it's kind of real?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Very, very real.
I'll have to watch it tonight.
And it's one continuous shot.
Very nice.
So it's very cool. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I can't wait to see it.
So what was your rating for this episode?
I gave it 9 lapdogs.
9 lapdogs.
Yeah, someone called someone a lapdog when they had that scene with all the bosses.
Yeah.
In the construction building.
Well, let's see. I gave this one.
We do not meet with lapdogs.
Yeah, I give this one 8.5 out of 10 billy clubs because there was a cool scene in the beginning where Matt's whipping out the billy clubs.
Yeah.
And there's one hilarious scene where he takes out this guy that's sitting on a little fold-out chair eating a sandwich. So sandwich guy gets taken out, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, very nice.
So.
Yeah, I really loved it. I thought it was a great start, and I can't wait to watch the rest of it. I may binge watch it.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to go back and watch each episode to talk about it.
I know Lori's probably like, my wife Lori, she's probably like, hey, it's time for dinner. How about we eat some dinner and watch Daredevil episode 3?
And you're going to be on 7, right?
Yeah. No. No.
Okay.
I haven't watched the others yet.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
So
yeah, it's a great start. So shall we do feedback?
Yeah, let's do a real quick feedback because we haven't got much feedback, which is a little disappointing, but we did get one.
Guys.
We did get one. Maggie,
Yes.
I_Maggie on iTunes.
Who is Maggie on Facebook, I'm sure. Right.
So Maggie, cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that was like an iZombie iMaggie thing, which is kind of clever. If that's the case, major props there.
Big time.
Maggie, if you're listening, thank you so much for the review.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't have much to say, but she did say, she called us a fun TV podcast. That was the post title.
I like that.
The heading. And then she said, we're a nice discussion of the week's comics-inspired TV.
Aww.
Smiley face. So we got the smiley face.
I like the smiley face very much.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Maggie.
Yeah, thanks, Maggie. So, the
You're
rest
the best
of you.
Around.
So the rest of you, get on the stick and let us know what you think.
That's right. I'll sing something for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's not a selling point. I'll either sing something for you or I won't.
So,
whatever you want.
Get on iTunes and review us, or let us know on our Facebook page, which only has 31 people liking us, following us. So we need to get that number at least up to 50. Because come on, guys,
come on, 100.
Yeah, we were like Dangerous Habits. We're at 102. We're still getting followers there.
Yeah.
So
let's get those
come
people
on.
over to...
Yeah, come on, guys. If you're a Dangerous Habits fan, why don't you help us out?
That's right. Help a brother out.
Yeah, exactly. So, Karen, where else can they find us?
Well, they can find us on Twitter at FandomZoneCast. And they can find me at Oliveria.
Ooh.
And on Twitter, they can find you at Charles Skaggs.
At Charles Skaggs, yes.
That's what I said, at Charles Skaggs.
Yes, exactly right.
And on Facebook, they can find us at facebook.com/FandomZonePodcast. So go there and like us, please.
Yeah.
And our email address is fandomzonecast@gmail.com. And I know you have other ways for people to find you. So let's hear those.
Yeah, because she wants me to say this
I
stuff.
love hearing you say it.
Okay, so yeah, besides the Twitter machine. I'm on the Facebook. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on the Google Plus for you crazy kids on the Google Plus.
I love it.
And my blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee and Hot.
Yeah.
And just to let you know that I go into really big detail about this first Daredevil episode there. I post my review, my damn good television review of this first episode, Into the Ring. So if you want to check out more, check out the blog. So
Yes.
and so I guess that's about does it for this time.
Yep. And then we're
Uh,
gonna take a short little break. That's behind the scenes. You won't notice
Yes.
it.
It's magic through the magic of podcasting.
That's right. And we will come back and do the other half of the episode, but you will hear it in a couple of days.
Yep. We'll see you later.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.